Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got two replays in the American Tier 9 Premium Tank Destroyer, the TS-60. Now this is a tank that, well, for another week at least, is the tank that you can get in the Ultimate Season Pass for 6,000 gold. I just thought I'd do another video on it because, well, frankly I had two pretty damn, well, especially the last game is a pretty damn nice game for it, and I was like, well, you know what, let's do it while it's still kind of relevant, right? And yeah, the TS-60 is a tank destroyer that I have very much enjoyed playing because the gun's pretty damn nice, the DPM's really good, the camo on it is actually fantastic as well, it's something that you shouldn't underestimate, and the armour on it works enough. And by that I mean that the armour is one of those that can ricochet you a good amount of shots. If you side scrape with it, you can bounce quite a lot. The turret front will bounce you a lot, but you do have the weak spot on top of the turret in the cupola, which can be penned quite easily, and if you turn the turret ever so slightly and someone's firing like 300 plus pen rounds, which, you know, quite a lot of tier 10s do, they will probably pen the side of your turret, which can be a little bit awkward at times. So it's one of those armors that it's very workable. You can put yourselves in the right positions, you'll do very well with it, but at the same time, it's not 100% foolproof and will not 100% bounce you everything all the time. But also, the one thing that is a bit troll on this tank is the lower plate, because what people don't realise is the lower plate is actually thicker than the upper plate, and it's angled really well, because you have that 170mm of lower plate armour. So if you angle really quite well, you can actually ricochet quite a few shots off your lower plate. Playing against this thing, I've bounced quite a few shots off the lower plate and gone, oh, why is that? Oh, yeah, because it's got a really thick lower plate. Because that's one of the things that's different on this tank compared to PC, because it doesn't have the same armor model that PC has. So that's why I never used Thankyou in the tank review for it, is that the lower plate is actually way thicker than it is on PC and stuff like that. But yeah, it can actually be a bit of a bait at times. But the one thing that, like I say, that is great about this tank is just how good this gun is. Like, it's aimed in most of the time. The DPM is really quite great, and you can absolutely shred with it. I mean, the DPM with the setup that I've got at the minute is nearly 3.6k, which is phenomenal for a tier 9 tank destroyer. Add in that we've got that 400 alpha, we've got good penetration. You know, this tank has 258 penetration on its standard AP round, which is really, really nice. It will go through most things you're going to face, but if you can't pen it with 258 pen, you can just pen it with 320 heat, which is delightful, and again, that will shred most things. The shell velocity on it is 1,150 meters a second on the standard AP, with 950 on the heat rounds. So if you do load the heat rounds, bear in mind that you're going to have to leave the targets a little bit more than the standard round, but 1,150 for an AP round is really quite good for this tank. With the build that I've got 0.34 accuracy, which is definitely a bit derpier than a lot of the other tank destroyers will be at tier 9. I mean, most of those are probably pushing closer to 3 with a good build, but 0.34 is still not too bad, and to be honest, we do still hit most of the shots that we want to hit. It's only occasionally where the gun just decides, nah, you know what, nah, I'm not feeling it. And that's because we've got 0.35 accuracy during rotation, and 2.41 accuracy during movement, which is actually really good for a tank destroyer, to be fair, at tier 9. And the 0.35 accuracy during rotation with the build that I have is absolutely phenomenal, and that's without snapshot and stuff like that, which means that the gun, after you've turned the turret, is pretty much always aimed in. And with a 1.57 second aim time with this build, by the way, that's where one of those shots where the gun just goes, nah, I'm not feeling that. Yeah, with that 1.57 second aim time, it just means the gun just goes, ready to go. Instantly. It is so good. The gun handling is really, it feels just really responsive in this vehicle, which is definitely great. And yeah, I've definitely enjoyed it. 7 degrees of gun depression with this tank as well is also pretty handy, because it means that you're not useless on a ridgeline. I mean, there's quite a few of the back-mounted turrets tanks that are like only running 5, and they can be a little bit awkward when you hit some sort of bump in the terrain, and can be a little bit annoying to use at times in that way. So 7 degrees of gun depression for this vehicle is pretty good. You do have a slow turret traverse though at 21.89 degrees a second, which is why I run rapid aim to buff it up, just to be a little bit quicker, because then you can try and get it somewhere near the 28 degrees a second full rotation speed that you have, but it still will always be slower than your tracks. Oh wow, that was a snapped shot there in that gorilla. That hit, we'll take it. But yeah, so you also have 15.45 horsepower per ton ratio on this vehicle, which helps you hit that top speed of 35 kilometers an hour that you have. But 35 kilometers an hour top speed can be a little bit slow at times, and it does feel that little bit slow and sluggish. And with the armor and that's why it feels a bit more brawly as a TD. And you can see we are bouncing a good amount of shots as well off of the armor, but with the camo being down at 269 meters of still concealment with this build that I run, That is so damn nice. It is so good to use in bush locations and in positions like you're seeing here with the TS-60, because if you spot up the enemy tanks with your 486 meters of view range, you'll be able to stay unspotted for quite a long time, and that means you can also fall back on the ability of playing as a tank destroyer, which is always nice. It's always a good thing to be able to have, because some of the tank destroyers that are more heavily armoured tend to obviously lose that camo, right, in favour of better gun handling and having the thick armour. This thing has pretty good gun handling. It has armour that's really quite nice to use. You've got a good DPM, and then you've also got that 269 metres of steel concealment, which is fabulous, and that means that you can stay unspotted and just play that TD role if you need to, where you can pull back into the bushes, play a bit further back, play a bit more snipey, and it'll go pretty decently for you. So, what do I run in terms of a crew and equipment on the TS-60? Well, I run Born Leader, Rapid Reload, Sixth Sense, Situational Awareness, Camouflage Expertise, Silent Driving, Steady Aim, Rapid Aim, and Run and Gun. And in terms of the equipment, the Advanced Loader, Camo Net, and Optics. Optics to be able to push my view range to 486 metres of view range, so I can spot for myself, and especially in situations like this. The Camo Net to knock it down to that 269 metres of steel concealment, and the Advanced Loader to make that DPM that is fantastic on this tank even better. And then Run and Gun to make the accuracy better during movement, so I'm getting a little bit of gun stabilizer out of it that you can't run on, obviously, on a TD, and it knocks that down to that 2.41 accuracy during movement, which then just limits the amount that your gun blooms out. The Rapid Aim to make the turret traverse better, because the turret traverse is a little bit slow, so I want to try and get it up towards the track traverse as much as I can, really, because it did feel slow, so it was annoying me a little bit. That's what's changed from the review, because, like I said, the accuracy during rotation was already so good. Decided that I didn't really need a snapshot, and making something like the turret traverse better would be a lot more handy for the TS-60. Steady Aim, naturally, to make everything better about the tank, and then Silent Driving and Camouflage Expertise, again, to knock the camo of the tank down to that 269 metres of steel concealment, and then to limit the effect of driving on my camo, or the effective movement on my camo rating, so that I can be a bit more stealthy while moving and keep hold of my camo as much as possible. So yeah, that's what I run on this tank. It's very interchangeable for this vehicle, because if you feel like the track traverse is too slow as well, you could run clutch braking instead of something like Rapid Aim, right? There's plenty you could do with one of these crews, and the TS-60 is very interchangeable like that. It's down to you and how you feel comfortable with playing the vehicle. So this first game that you're seeing here, we've managed to get 4.7k damage with 229 assistance, and it's currently 4-4, which is awkward. We managed to snap the shot there into the grill at 15. This position that we've taken has been so handy for us. Oh, that one sadly misses, so we don't quite get it. We bounced the grill at 15 there off the side of our turret. So we get a bit lucky there that we managed to... That was one of those moments where we realised, oh, we detected, and we flinched towards what was looking at us, and thankfully we managed to turn the armour just in time. This position that we've taken here at C4 has been really handy for us, and the reason I took... This position is dangerous, right? Because if there's anything in the middle around H6, 7, or anything climbing on your side of where the cap is, it can go pretty badly for you very quickly, because they all have free shots at you here. But if it's like what was happening with this enemy team, where we knew that most of their team were all around their cap area or in that back corner at A9, I knew where they were. I knew that they weren't going to be able to... Well, the only way they were going to be shooting me is if I was poking over that ridgeline, and I wasn't going to get shot in the side or the rear, and that meant we can just keep poking over, limiting them to only shooting my turret armour or my extremely angled upper plate as they're shooting up at me. And that meant we managed to bounce 2.2k damage and just keep farming out the damage and a little bit of assistance. I mean, we didn't get much assistance, 426. But we kept the enemy team occupied and pinned in very awkward situations while my team dealt with them, as well as me dealing with them as well. And you've seen the gun handling in this game. The gun handling in this game is just pretty damn nice for the TS-60. It snaps in pretty quickly because of the fact that aim time is so good. And the fact that your accuracy during rotation is so good, right? And the accuracy during movement is actually quite low for a tank destroyer, because, I mean, you think about something like the AAT-60, you're talking the accuracy during movement is about 4 to 5, right? With this tank, it's 2.41, which means when you're moving, it does bloom out a lot, right? Because 2.41 accuracy during movement is still not very good. But, and as you see in here, it does bloom out a lot, but because you've got such a good aim time to go along with it, your gun just goes, and we're ready to go instantly, and it's a delightful thing for the TS-60. It's one of the reasons I've enjoyed it, because that gun handling is so nice. to add into the fact that your DPM is also colossal, and that you've got the utility to use your armour or use the camo. It's just got that flexibility that, like, the only real thing that I dislike, and I say dislike in a sort of way, is the fact that it's fairly slow. We finished that game with the first class, the Confederate, the 1748 base XP for the 5033 damage in a tier 10 game. Pretty damn nice game there for the TS-60. But yeah, the only real big downside that I find with this tank is the fact that it's slow. That's pretty much it. The fact that it takes quite a while to get to the position you want to be in can be a bit of a pain. You've got that more average heavy tank mobility in the 35 kilometers an hour top speed than you do in other vehicles, right? But it doesn't mean it's bad. It's fairly balanced, really. That's what the TS-60 is. It's just a balanced tank destroyer. And you can use... It's got weaknesses in the fact that it does get set on fire quite a lot as well. If they shoot you in the front end where the engine is from the side, it can get lit on fire quite a bit, which can be a bit annoying. And the fact that you've got that 35 kilometer an hour top speed. But for the most part, like I say, you've got the utilities, you've got the ability to be flexible with how you play the vehicle, you're not like paper in terms of your armour, your gun handling isn't dreadful, your DPM isn't dreadful, you've just got good all-round everything that you can use in certain situations that makes your tank pretty damn nice. So we're in the second game, and the second game is on this map, which is... Brain, come on. Fisherman's Bay. Oh, it's not Fisherman's Bay. It's Redshire. Oh, my goodness me, Brain. That was a good one. Fair play to you. Oh, brain farts. Am I right, kids? Am I right? So, we're on Redshire. And on Redshire, you can see this is where the camo's nice. That Bayer is looking at us menacingly, right? But this Bayer hasn't seen us. We load the heat because we can go through his superstructure with the heat rounds, 320 pen. And he doesn't see us again. He is 399 meters view, 399 meters away. And his view range, clearly he hasn't spec'd for view range, so he just could not see me firing at him at that 399 meters. And that's where it's quite nice, and we could just be able to start farming away. We do get a shot into the side of the E75. We do get spotted by that E75 this time. We pull back. We're still in a good position to use the 7 degrees of gun depression this tank has, and keep firing the shots into the side of the A75. We've just got to punish him for making this play. Another shot in, can we get the kill? That would be nice to shut down the German tier 9 heavy tank, but he's gotten himself behind that building, which has kept him safe. Something is still shooting at us down from where their spawn is at B8, so we've got to be very, very careful of that. We don't really want to overexpose too much, although we did ricochet it, and it was only 230 damage, which means it's probably one of the 20-pounders. So we're talking the Centurion 1, Huntsman, you know, one of those vehicles. And there is a Huntsman on the enemy team, so it's probably a Huntsman. We tried to snap the shot at D75 there. He just gave us his rear, and he went, no, oh, look at this. He's teasing us. And there we go. We managed to finish off the E75. He was just like, yeah, I can't get this. Not gonna get this. Take my booty. And yeah, we failed to take the booty. But we did in the end, and that's the main thing. And now we're shooting at the Huntsman, who was the guy that we ricocheted off, trying to blind fire the shot him. And we do actually get the shot downrange towards the Huntsman, and we failed because, well, he got unspotted, and it is what it is. We were detected, which makes me think that Huntsman is still down there, and I'm kind of thinking, do I want to blind fire the Huntsman? Nah, you know what, we're just going to go try and see if we can shoot the things that are spotted. 2 of their mediums are spotted at E3. There is the Huntsman, though. He's driven out into a bad spot for him, because we shot him through the concealment of the tree there. He didn't spot us when we fired. We do get detected this time, well, spotted, I should say, and thus we do manage to actually shut that guy down. The machine gives us his booty, and we're like, okay, sir, sure. I will do this. Thank you for the free shots. Just trying to make sure that the shots are going to hit. And, of course, we ricochet. We ricochet off the side of the machine, which, realistically, we should have overmatched because we do have a 120mm gun, but we must have just hit him at an extremely awkward angle where there was actually no tank behind the tracks. Because that's the thing. If you end up bouncing off a tank and you hit them in the side and it does track damage only, a lot of the time where it does track damage only, it's because the shell actually landed in a position where it can hit the tracks, but there's no tank behind it. And so, yeah, you do track damage only. Now I realise, by the way, I've overexposed a little bit. I was going for the Barask, and yeah, we're in a bit of an awkward situation. This is where the 12km/h reverse speed is very awkward because it's so slow to pull back. Oh no, that's a Bayer. Thank the Lord he's got no gun depression. He couldn't get the gun down, we shut him down. But yeah, that's where I felt like I'd overexposed, and I had to get back. But 12 kilometers an hour reverse speed is pretty slow. We do get the shot through the lower plate of the E6. We're just struggling with that gun depression, though. There we go. Managed to get the shot into his upper plate. I'm realizing I'm going to take another hit. This guy's firing heat, so my armor doesn't mean that much to him, but we do get rid of the tier 10 American medium tank there. And I feel like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put some pressure up on the medium tank and the heavy tank, which is a 705A and a 907. The 907 is firing heat, which is a bit awkward because that means he might just start wrecking my poor armor. But we're still ricocheting him here because, again, he shot us. You can see I'm angling it to give him a little bit of my side because heat rounds tend to get absorbed by spaced armor, so I'm more likely to actually bounce the 907 if he shoots me in the side. We ricochet off his lower plate, and I'm like, oh, come on. But the Barask is coming with him, and we can't let the Barask also get round us. So luckily we get a high roll, but we managed to get the shot in to finish off the Barask. That's one tank out, down, and at this point I'm like, oh, I'm dead. 907's behind us. He's firing heat. We get a shot into his side, but his heat round hits my gun. Gets absorbed. Okay, glorious. He should keep going round me, but he doesn't. He's heat round again. He hits my side. He hits my tracks with heat, and it gets absorbed with the space arm. If he was firing APCR there, he would have killed me. Because he was firing heat and he hit the tracks, it got absorbed. So we got lucky, but we take that. You take the rough with the smooth. And we finish with the victory. 5 kills, 7.3k damage, the 439 assistance, the ace tank of the high caliber, and the 2.1, nearly 2.2k base XP as well. Really nice game there for the TS-60. A tank destroyer that I have very much enjoyed that's in the Ultimate Season Pass for one more week. And yeah, again, it's a fairly balanced tank destroyer. It's got the assets to be able to be a good time, but also it's got the weaknesses that can be exploited, like the cupola on top, which is very, very easy to hit and pen. It's very, very enjoyable. We did get lucky in that game that we survived at the end, but again, how often does it go against you? So you take the luck where you can get it. So as always, everybody, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
A great success.